Hello, welcome to the Antisocial Club. I'm Diamond Alexis. Today I will be doing a troubleshoot video for my crochet durag, which is basically me answering a bunch of the questions that y'all may have asked either on TikTok, my Instagram, on the YouTube, and in the comments. This video hopefully will clear up a lot of the questions and answer them. So I'm gonna be answering all of the questions. Hopefully I get to all of them. I answer all the questions that y'all have, and yeah, hopefully this will make it a little bit more clear. So first thing, there is a playback speed if you press the settings button on your on the YouTube video. There's a playback speed option, and you can change the playback speed if you need to slow something down a little bit. Also, you can zoom in on YouTube, so on your phone or on your laptop or desktop or something. I know when I watch tutorials on stuff on YouTube, I usually zoom in, and if I need to slow it down, I'll adjust the playback speed and make it slower. So hopefully that will help as well, and that's with like any of the tutorials. So adjust the playback speed if you need me to go just a little bit slower. I tried to go slow. The durag is very simple, and so I didn't include a lot because it's very like repetitive, if that makes sense. Another thing is, so I got a few people tell me that their durag came out shorter than it's supposed to and smaller. I know this one girl on Instagram sent me an actual picture of her durag. I told her to send me a picture, and it was significantly shorter. Only thing I can think of, if you use the same size hook and the same yarn size, only thing I can think of is probably, especially if you're a beginner, your tension is too tight. So you could either go up a hook size or try to loosen your tension. That is the only thing I could think of as to why it came out so short and so small. Like, I literally don't know anything else, like another reason why that could be. I do know hers was a black yarn that she used, so it could be the black yarn, because for some reason black yarns are never the same as like other yarns. They're always shorter. So like even if I make a black durag and it's the same size as like a yellow durag I made, it's always gonna be shorter because for some reason the black yarn is like weird. So that could have been another reason, but the only thing I can think of is tension. So I would practice your tension, or just make the durag longer, which leads me to the next question. What are the chain sizes for the durag? So in the video, I did my long size, which is 80 chains. If you want a standard size or shorter size, 60 chains. If you want an extra long, I do 100 chains. So I do it by 20s. You can do it by 10s, so you can just like take 10 away, add 10, but I go by 20s. So 60, 80, 100, standard, long, extra long. So that's how I do my durags. You can go shorter, you can go longer. I don't know how to look if you go shorter. I've never done one shorter than the 60 chains. You can go longer than 100. I know somebody went longer than 100, and theirs was really cute. It was just, it just makes it longer. If you don't want to do a mesh stitch, I had a few people ask me, what do I do if I don't want to have the big holes? You basically would not do the mesh stitch. So where I chained one, so I double crochet. So for my pattern, I double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch. You wouldn't chain one and skip a stitch. You would just double crochet, double crochet, double crochet. You just keep going back and forth if you don't want the mesh stitch. If you want a tighter stitch, you would use a smaller hook. I've never used a smaller hook for my durags, so I couldn't tell you what that looks like. It would look good, but I wouldn't know like the sizing and stuff. I couldn't tell you that. My tutorial was basically tutorials were really just to give you a basic idea of how something is made. So if you want to make it different, you kind of have to experiment around. I just want y'all to know, in crochet, that's the fun of it, is like experimenting. So if you want to make it different, you know, you'll have to like trial and error, just experiment around. It's okay to take your stuff apart and start over. When I made my durag, I made it a few times just so I can make sure I had it right. And my first designs looked like that, but they were put together differently. So, you know, it's just trial and error. That's the fun part about crochet, is to be able to experiment and do your own thing and figure out how something is done and how to make it the way that you want it to. So if you want to use this different size hook, you know, you'll have to play around with it and see how it looks. All I can do is give you the basic measurements and the basic idea of how it's made. But if you want to do it differently than the way I did it, you'll have to experiment around with it. Because I've only made my durags the way you see in the video. I haven't experimented around with them. Not yet. I got a lot of questions about where I got certain stuff in the video. Everything I have, my hooks, my yarn, my stitch markers, my crochet needles, everything I got from Hobby Lobby. You can get stuff from Joann's, you can get stuff from Walmart, you can get stuff from Amazon. You get stuff, I mean, they have crochet stuff everywhere now, but I get my stuff from Hobby Lobby. Again, I got a lot of questions about what if I use a different hook? What if I use a different yarn? It'll look different. You'll just have to experiment around with it. Like, I know this one girl, she custom ordered from me. She wanted a specific yarn for her durag, and it was like a softer yarn. It was acrylic and maybe polyester mix or something. I know it had polyester in there. So it looked different, but it ended up coming out a little shorter than the actual long durag that I usually do. And I told her, I was like, it's a little shorter, but she's like, that's okay. So again, different yarn changes the size, different hooks change the size as well. You just have to play around. Do I block my durags? No, I don't. You can block them. I know a lot of people have said they block theirs just to give it more of a structured look. But I don't block mine when I give them out, because a lot of people are now are wearing them as head wraps, because you can turn the durag into a head wrap. So a lot of people are wearing them as head wraps, so there's not really a point. But you can block them if you want it back straight after you've worn it as a head wrap, or you can steam it. Only thing with steaming and blocking is it makes them a little longer. Is it big head friendly? That is another question. Yes. Yarn and crochet. The way I crochet stuff is I use a bigger hook than it is recommended on the like packaging. That way it has more space to stretch. So it is big head friendly, and the more you wear stuff, the more it'll kind of like stretch out. But I would be very, very cautious, especially if you're making like hats, things that are supposed to be more fitting, because if you stretch them out, there's no way to get them back to that original form. They'll just be stretched out. So I would just keep that in mind. Once you stretch out crochet, you can't get it back to its original form. Not that I know of, at least. Maybe there's something out there, I don't know. But as far as I know, you can't get it back to its original form. So be very cautious. But yes, it is big head friendly. It's literally, I made it to the same size and look as a regular durag. So, yeah. Which leads me to my next question. How did I come up with the crochet durag? And how do I come up with like my patterns and stuff? So the story behind it, I was sitting in my bed crocheting, and I was thinking, oh, I need to come up with something different. I need to come up with something new. I need to come up with something. And I think I had work the next day, because at that time I had a regular job. So I was like, oh, you know, let me go to bed. It's time for me to go to bed. I gotta get up early. So as I'm about to go to bed, because at the time my hair was short, I had waves. So I was like, okay, let me go to bed. I grabbed my durag to put it on, and I said, oh, I can make a crochet durag. So I think I texted my mom. I was like, crochet durag. She was like, that's a great idea. And so I believe not too long afterwards, I ended up making it. I put a picture of my very first durag. I had my mom model it. And yeah, that was it. I've made changes to the durag since then. Like how to do the like rounded part, because that was the part I was having the most trouble with, was just seeing how it was rounded. Let me see if I can find a durag. So this is a durag that I based the design after. I came from sewing, so my background is sewing, and one thing in sewing, you just learn how to dissect things. So when you look at this hole, it's basically a rectangle, right? So you have boop, boop, right? It's a rectangle. And what I saw, and I was like, okay, they just put two rectangles together and they just rounded this part. So when I was making my durag, the only thing I was having trouble with was trying to figure out how to round this off so that it would like cup the head. But obviously, of course, I ended up figuring it out. But I believe the very first two durags that I made, or very first three durags I made, those are not made like the one I have in the tutorial. They still look good, like, don't get me wrong, but they're not rounded. You have to kind of put it on and kind of like push it down, because I didn't know how to round it at that time. But then I figured it out and I was like, oh. Also, I know there have been crochet durags before mine. I never claimed to be the first to make crochet durags. Cause I made the durag, and then I think I went on Pinterest, and you know the like government be listening into you. So I think on Pinterest I saw a crochet durag as I was scrolling, and I was like, oh, I'm not the first. Which is why I never claimed like, oh, first crochet durag ever. No, you've never seen this before. Which is why I've never done that, because I know there were crochet durags before mine, but you know, I still came up with my own original like pattern and everything like that. So all of it's mine. Like, so another question I get for the durags: what if I want to protect my hair and I don't want to just have the durag on? I would recommend getting an actual durag. So you can either get an actual durag, put it on your head, and then put the crochet durag on. Or, I can't find mine, but they have satin head wraps. And they have like satin head wraps that look like this. It just doesn't have the tail part, right? So it's this, but without the tail. And you could just put that on, wrap it around, and then put your durag on. You could either get a different color, that way it has like contrasting colors, or you can get one the same color as like your hair, so like black or brown, like a dark brown or something. Put that on, put your durag on. That way you can't see it. So that's how you can add satin. But yeah, I think that is all the questions. I hope that I answered all of them. I hope that y'all are able to look at this video and finally be able to like do your stuff and it like turns out perfect. Overall, I had a lot of people say, oh, you know, my stuff turned out so good. It's so cute. I love it. I'm gonna make like 50 of them in every color. Overall, the rating for my video was really good. I really appreciate everyone for supporting and watching the video and using the tutorial and tagging me. I love seeing y'all's recreations. I literally repost them on TikTok and I repost them on my Instagram. I love seeing them. I think I might want to do a Q&A soon, just because people don't really know me. I don't really come on here and talk a lot because that's just not my thing. But I know y'all want to like know who you like follow. So if you want a Q&A just for me personally, just let me know. I don't mind. I'm pretty interesting. I do a lot of stuff. I'm a true artist through and through. But yeah, I hope y'all like this video. Hopefully it was useful. Hopefully it cleared up a lot of the confusion. I know I seen a few people, they had their durags and they loved them and they were put together, and I was like, they have their durag upside down. So hopefully this like helps that as well. If y'all have any more questions, be sure to ask. I hope I answered most of them though. Another thing was, some people asked how they could, I know a lot of people wanted an actual written pattern. That way they could purchase it and support me. And not gonna lie, I want to come out with a written pattern, but I just don't have the time to right now. I still don't have the time. So if you would like to just support, there is a thanks button on YouTube. You can click that and, you know, support just $1, $2, doesn't matter. You don't have to. I just know some people ask. I also sell prints on my website because I don't like just like getting money. So if you want to like buy some prints, because they're like really cheap, maybe like $5 for like 5 prints, I think. If you want to get some prints and at least, you know, you can spend money and get something back. You can do that and support as well. But I mean, you know, just like and share the video. That would be really cool. Leave a comment. That is just as much as support. So yeah, I hope y'all liked this tutorial. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope it was very useful. Again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in my next video. So this is the size or the length of the standard size durag. I didn't think about the fact that my actual durag tutorial is a long length and I did standard because this is an order. So I'll put the measurements for each length on the screen. That way you can have each one. But this is the standard length. It's 21 inches, and then the strap is, I believe, 31, around that long. Also wanted to let you know that even though the size changes, the length changes, the strap length always stays the same. So you always want to do the length of the strap the same. And so that's the length. The width is about, I believe it was about 8 inches. 8.5. So that is the width of the durag. The width of the durag always stays the same as well. So the strap length always stays the same and the width of the durag always stays the same. The only thing that changes is the length, because you have standard. Mine goes by standard, long, extra long. This is a standard durag. It's the same length as a actual durag that you would get from the beauty supply store. So this is standard, long, and then extra long. And I'll put everything on the screen. That way you can have everything and you can see it. But yeah, it's about 8.5. So welcome to the second half of the video. In this half of the video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to put y'all's crochet durag together. What you're going to need is your crochet panels. You're going to need some yarn, your yarn that you were using to make the crochet durag. And you're going to need some crochet pins. I guess that's what they're called. crochet markers. This is what they look like. You're gonna need some crochet markers or stitch markers, I don't know. You're gonna need a 6mm hook. This is the 6mm hook that I use. You're gonna need crochet needle, just one, but I have a pack, so you're gonna need one crochet needle. And then you're gonna need some scissors. So the size I'm gonna be doing is a standard size or a shorter size. These are the two panels. They're identical, they're exactly the same. One thing I want to say before I start is, one, this is the very top of the durag. So when you see these, you know this is the very top. And I don't think I mentioned that in the first video, in the actual tutorial. But this is the top of the durag. When the strap goes down, this is the bottom. I've seen a bunch of people putting it together down here. They would send me their like end result, and they'd be like, oh, I love my durag. And then I would notice like, oh, theirs is upside down. So this is the top, and you'll know it's the top because it has the strings. And this is the bottom. So the strap will always go like that. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your two panels, you're gonna line them up, and always strings together. And then you put the very corners. And you're gonna take your stitch markers or pins or whatever you want to call them. And if I can pick them up. You're going to pin them together just so they're even. Because last thing you want to do is put your durag together and it's not even. So let me see if I can zoom in. So see how that square goes with the square on the other half of the durag? So you're just going to line them up. And I usually just put my finger in here and I line these up. So I just pin it right here in the middle. Just like that. That way you know they line up. Let me zoom out again. So it'll look like that. So they're the same. You don't want to pin this corner. So what I do is I turn it around and I do the very bottom of the durag. And we're gonna line it up again. So corner to corner. Gonna take a pin, you're gonna pin it, take the other side, line it up, you're gonna pin it, just like so, and then you're gonna do it again. You're gonna put one in the middle, just like this. So 3 at the very bottom. This is the side, this is where the seam is. This is where you did the half double crochet. So remember, at the top you have the 2 that we did at the very beginning. You know, they're lined up. You have the 2, you have the corner, it has the 2 strings. You're gonna leave that for now. You're gonna turn it around, do the bottom, has the 3 pins, just so you make sure it's lined up. And what you wanna do, usually I work on this side, you take your finger, I usually take my finger, put it in there, make sure to line it up, and I just go down a bit and I pin it together along the seam. And the main goal is to just make sure it's even. So let me see if I can show you a bit. So see how it's the same, oops, it's the same on each side, so you can see right through the holes. You're gonna just go down a bit, maybe go to like here, and you're gonna pin it. If you're doing the long from the original video, what you're gonna do is you wanna put at least 3 of these pins down the side. But since this is a standard size, I only put 2 in the middle because it's not that big, or it's not that long. So next, so this is what it looks like. So again, 3 down at the very bottom. This is the bottom. Remember, it's lined up. Everything is lined up. You want to make sure that your durag, when you crocheted it, everything is even. So you'll see, like, if you skip the stitch or if you did too many, because you won't have it even. Because see how I can put my nail through? It's the same all the way down. So 3 at the bottom, 2 on the side, or if you're doing the long version, you're gonna have at least 3. And then at the very, very top, you want 2. If you want to, you can put more pins just so you can be a little bit more comfortable, but I usually just do this many. So I'm gonna turn it around again. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure it's all lined up. And I'm going to, this is what I'm going to do. I'm trying to get this at like a good angle. I hope this is like a good angle. But you want to take the 2 corners, and so I have this pinned in the corner, right? I go over, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th row. So where the 7th row meets the 8th row, I usually pin that middle section right here. So I usually pin in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pin the double crochet, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I pin in here, and what I do is we're gonna take the corner with the string and we're gonna bring it over right to where that middle seam is, so where we put the pin. So this is the pin. You want to bring the corner over. It'll be even on this side. It'll make a triangle, like a perfect triangle, so it'll look like that. So again, take the corner with the string. This is how you know it's the top of the durag. This is where you'll fold it over. That way it gives the durag a curve, so it can cup your head like a regular durag. So you want to take it over, take it to this middle middle section where you put the pin at the top, and you're gonna just bring it over and do it like that, or put it here, sorry. And what I like to do is line this up with the hole right here, because you're gonna have to pin all these sections together. So you can see right through here, and it goes to the other section. So you're just gonna take this half, and what I do is I just fold it over, and you won't be able to see it on camera, but you can see where the other side is, and see my nail is where the other side is. I usually just take my fingers, hold them there evenly, and then I'm gonna pin all those sections together. So we're gonna take our pin and just stab it through all the sections. So I grab the bottom, bring it up, put it through the top. So it'll look like that. So you can see I pin this side down, and I pin this side down. And that's how you put it together. So again, two of them up here. You have this one in the corner that holds these together. Oh, you want to put another one. Sorry. You're gonna put another pin just right here where the fold is. Again, you don't have to, but I do because I like to make sure that they're even. I don't want to be putting this half together and this section is way down here, so now it's like uneven. So you want to make sure it's even, and the pins will help to ensure that they're even. So we're gonna have these two up here. You're gonna have this one right here in the middle that has the fold. You're gonna put another pin right here where the fold is. Pin here, gonna put a pin here. These are the sides, and then you're gonna have 3 at the bottom. That holds the durag together. So I have changed how I put the durags together. So I'm gonna show y'all my updated version. I was gonna show how I did it in the original video, but my updated version might be easier, so I'll just show y'all the way I do it now. So you're gonna make a slip knot, and you're going to put that on your hook. I'm gonna make the string a little longer because I have to weave it in. So you're gonna do a slip knot. This is your slip knot. Remember, this part is the top. It has the strings at the very top. This is the top of the durag. So this is the section that you want to put together. So you're gonna take your hook with your yarn. Remember, this is your 6mm hook. Take your hook with your yarn, and you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets. So these are single crochets. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see. Do some slack on my yarn. So we're doing single crochets. Single crochets, all you do is go in, yarn over, come back up, yarn over, go through 2. And what I do is do 2 single crochets in each opening square. So I just did 1 in this opening. So the very first one I did 4. This one I did 2. This is 2. The next one you're going to do 2. So 1, Oh, if I can do it. This yarn, for some reason, it comes apart easily. 2. Next square, you're gonna put 1, 2, 1, same square, 2, go to the next square, there's 1, 2, and that's what the top is looking like so far. So again, hold on, let me move this out of my way. So next square, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and I believe this part is where people kind of had trouble trying to figure out this rounded part. Honestly, there's no method to my madness. Only thing I make sure I do is where this crochet needle is, or crochet pin. I make sure I go in between that and I do a single crochet. After I do 1 single crochet, I take the pin off so it's not in my way bothering me. And I do another one in that same section that I just did, single crochet. So all these are single crochet. So remember, you're gonna do 4 at the very beginning in this same square where you put the crochet. Ooh, why can't I never remember the name of these? Crochet pin. Gonna do 4, then you go to the next square, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet. This is where the pin was. You're gonna do 2 single crochet in there, and then when you get to this part, kind of just turn your work. I try to get it even on both sides, but I'd be lying if I said I got it perfect every time. So I kind of just try to see where it looks even, and I just single crochet, and I only do 1 single crochet in each, because last thing you want is for it to be bulky. So I literally just go in from one side. You want to make sure you grab something from the other side and single crochet. And like I said, there's not really a method to it. Literally, I just try to make sure I grab from both ends. And what I do is I keep my hand here and I hold it. That way it's somewhat kind of even. That way you're not having this like way down here or the other side way down there. I kind of keep my hand here. That way it knows. That way I know it's even still. My yarn got a little loose. So kind of just grab, go through, single crochet, single crochet. This part's not going to be perfect. I don't do this part the same every single time because, I mean, you literally can't see like what's going on. So I just do the best I can, honestly. And just do this. And again, get to this part. I make sure it's even on both sides. It's there. So I'm going to go through this part. And then go through this side. Here, this is where the seam is. So this part. And you're just gonna put them together. Kind of go through those two as well. This is where I turn my work. And now I make sure this is even. And I go through, there's these little like, let me see if I can zoom in so you can see. There are these loops on the very end, and you can see, so if you line it up, like I said, I like to use my fingers to kind of like line up the squares. So you can see there's these loops at the very top where we did our seam, and each loop is the same corresponding loop on this other side. So what you want to do is I put my finger through and you just go through the loop on both sides, and boom, it's even. Now that you're here, I take it, go through both sides. Also, when you have it in person, I don't know if you could be able to see it on camera because it's so like tight together, but I can look through here and see the other side. So I can see my finger waving on this side. So you just want to go through the even parts. So it'll look like this on your hook. You just go through and use single crochet. And remember, keep your finger here if you're able to, just to keep it even with these stitch markers. Because the stitch markers help, but it can still move around on accident. So you don't want it to look like that. You want it to be even. So I kind of just keep my fingers in there to keep it even, so that it's not moving around and stuff. So you just go through both, single crochet, go through both, single crochet, again. And I also let my pointer finger kind of guide so I can know where I'm going in. So I can feel the hook as I'm pushing it in on my finger. And I just go through and I single crochet. And like I said, in person you can see the other side. So I can see all the way through here. But you just single crochet, and you're gonna literally do this all the way down. I'm not gonna cut this like at all. I'm gonna keep everything in so you can see, so you can see what I'm doing. I'll keep it zoomed in for this part, for this half, and then I'll kind of zoom out in the other half. So that way, in case it's easier to see, maybe zoomed out, I can have that in there as well. Because I don't know if like this is too close maybe. So again, just keep your finger in the squares if you're able to do it that way. That way you know it's even. So see, I got to this one and it's still lined up with the other half. So for this one, this other half, I'm gonna zoom out a bit, try to explain it again. So you're just gonna keep your hand in there. You're gonna line up the two halves. So you're gonna line up these two halves. So this is a half, this is a half. This is I'm kind of glad I did ombre yarn, because you can see both halves a little bit better since it's two different colors. But you're just gonna go through, single crochet, and like I said, you can see, same way you can see through these to know that it's lined up, you can see through this very top part in person. So I know that I'm going through both ends. And you just want to keep going. Also, a good rule of thumb is they're literally right next to each other. So I know if I just go in this next stitch, it'll line up and go through the next stitch on the other half. So even if I don't have my hand in there guiding me, I know like, okay, I'm going through the right thing. But like I said, I like to have my finger because it just makes me feel better. So just go, you're gonna single crochet, Uh-oh. Oh, I yarned over it. You know, you get used to doing a stitch and then it's just like stuck in your mind. I do double crochet so much, I just yarn over first. I hope this is more like understandable. Hopefully this is easier too, because I believe in the first video I used a needle and kind of just weaved it in and out. I'll kind of zoom out a little bit more to see if that helps anybody else out there. I know the very first, the actual tutorial video, I used a needle to weave in and out, which is the same concept. You're still weaving in and out of the same thing. So like you can see, let me zoom in. You can see the little holes where I went through, they're even. It was the same thing with the needle, weaving in and out. This time we're just doing single crochets. So instead of single crocheting at the very top and then switching to a needle right here and then weaving in and out, I just kept the single crochets going all the way to the bottom. So that might be a little easier than the needle. The needle might have been a little confusing, but you know, everybody's brain thinks differently. To me, when I first started doing the durag, I was thinking, oh, you know, to make it flat, I need to probably use a needle, not a whole single crochet stitch. But now I realize, like, it really does not make a difference. And to me, it might seem a little bit flatter. I think it might be like just a little bit flatter doing the single crochets. I don't know. But yeah. So we're just gonna keep going through single crochet, keeping our finger here. This is where the other one is. Just do that. Also a reminder too, like, I know I've created a lot of stuff and a lot of people think like, oh, she's been crocheting a long time. I'm still a beginner, so I'm still like learning stuff. I'm still doing stuff for the first time. Like, I just made my first crochet outfit, like entire crochet outfit. I made a crochet outfit last year, but I used an actual skirt. This year I crocheted my whole entire Christmas outfit by hand, no like fabric or anything, just pure yarn. And learned how to make a seam straight. I didn't even know how to make a seam straight. I literally just learned that, and I learned it once I was almost done with the dress. But that was to be just a reminder, like, I'm still a beginner. I haven't even been crocheting for 2 years yet. So, I don't think I said that in the, like, question part. So I thought I'd just share that. So, you know, I'm still learning stuff. I'm still learning how to make things easier. I'm still learning just a bunch of stuff. So, you know, I might seem advanced, but just know I'm not. I just, you know, I like creating. I like making stuff. So, and you can make almost anything with crochet. So if I can make it, if I like something, I'm gonna see if I can crochet it. Which leads me to, I know a lot of people want a tutorial on the turban that I made, and I'll do a tutorial. I just, you know, I still have orders and stuff I have to do which take priority, so it just might be a minute, because Christmas orders, and then everybody got money for Christmas, so everybody's like ordering. So when I slow down, I don't mind giving tutorials, but I figured I'd get around to this because I get questions about putting the durag together, and I wanna have y'all make sure y'all are doing it right. So towards the end, so this is the seam, right? This is the seam. This is where we put the crochet marker. See, I know I'm a big beginner because I still cannot remember the name of this. Ignore my dog huffing and puffing. But we put the crochet marker here. This is the seam. In the seam, I put my finger in this top square. This is where we did the chain 4 and then half double crochet to do the seam at the very beginning. You're gonna do two half, what am I trying to say? You're gonna do 2 single crochets in this big square. So this is 1 half double crochet. Oh my gosh, why can't I talk? This is 1 single crochet. That's my dog again. And then you're gonna do another single crochet. Everything we've done so far is single crochet. No half double crochets for putting the durag together. This is half double crochet, this is double crochet, and this is single crochet. So yeah, once you do that, that's the very last stitch. So single crochets, and in this very last square, you're gonna put 2 single crochets. I like to chain 1, and then you're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna cut. They wanted to cut good. These scissors suck, but I see they wanted to cut good because they're on camera. But you chain 1 and then you just cut and then you pull. And then you just kind of tighten it, and that is literally it. So it's rounded off. You're gonna weave in this, you're gonna weave in that, this one, you're gonna weave in this top one, and then you're gonna weave in this bottom one, and then you have the ones for the strap. And again, I don't know if I mentioned, even though your length changes, your crochet strap length always stays the same. So you're always going to crochet, I think it's 80 for the strap. So you're going to take your crochet needles, which again, I say in every video, they're not sharp. They're very blunt. The ends are very blunt. I'm trying to find a long one. I like getting these longer ones. But this is the needle. I'll show this part first because, again, this is where I get a lot of questions. What you're gonna do is take this marker out, or pen, take this out. Ignore my dog, he's chewing his toy. Dogs are so, they just don't care about what you're doing. So you're going to put the yarn in the needle. You're just going to feed it through. And I guess I could show y'all what I do. I usually twist the yarn the direction that it goes in. I bend it over and then I just squeeze and put it through, and then I grab it. So what I do is I put my hand on the inside. This is the inside, so you know, half and half. I put it on the inside, and I like to put my hand here, and I see where it naturally falls, where this part naturally falls, and it naturally falls in this area. So I put the durag, I put the needle in, so it falls in this area, right, which is this section right here. So I put it in here and I just weave it through, and see, it'll just sit there. So I'll show it again, but I'll show it close up so y'all can see. Let me zoom in. Oh, that's zooming out. So again, it naturally falls right there, right here. So I'm going to take my needle and just go through and feed it in where it naturally sits. That way it just sits it sits flat. And I just weave it in any type of way. No special type of way, just weave it in. And then I put it here. And what I do is take my hand out, pull this through. And again, y'all know I always say I came from sewing, so I always tie my ends off. And we're gonna stick it there, unravel it, pull half of it through. And then I tie it 3 times. Just like so. And I pull it tight. And you're gonna grab your scissors. You're just gonna cut it. And boom. You have a seam. Or something like that, I guess. And it's flat. So now it's flat. And, you know, obviously you want to make sure you don't go in on the other side so you can see it. But let me zoom out of it. But yeah, so this is where we have it in. It's right here. You can't see. And then you're going to do the same thing to the other side. What I'm going to do is take these pins out. You can leave them in if they help you, but I usually take them out. I take them out even before I weave in, because it's just easier for me to do it that way. That way too, I don't forget any pins, because I'm good to forget pins in my durag. So just take all the pins out, and I'm gonna flip this around. You're gonna do the same thing on this side. So we're gonna feed this through the needle. I'm gonna put my hand. I'm gonna put my hand in. I'm gonna see where it naturally falls, which is in here. So we're gonna take this and weave it in this area, because you want to make it flat. Oh, so that's gonna take this and do that. You're gonna tie it off. And then you're gonna cut it. That's the hardest part. It's not really hard, but that's the more intricate part. So you can see it lays flat on both sides. That's how you want it to be. And then you're just gonna weave in these other ends. So same thing, just twist. And I just over here. There's not really, I don't have a method for how I weave in. I'm just gonna do because they don't tie off, they just weave in. I don't feel like I tie off. So really just do whatever you like. I really just go through and cut the other end. Nothing special. Take it. Make sure you get the right part. You're gonna take this. You're gonna do this thing. You're gonna tie it. I'm gonna pull it. Tie it. Tie. Pull it tight. Tie it. Pull it tight. For the strap, so this is the side the string is on. So you see it's on this side, because it makes a square. This is the square, right? This is the side the strap is on. So what you want to do is take your hook. I go through this very first one. I go around, go through the second one around, oh, third one around, fourth one around, and then this fifth one I go through the first one and I pull it through, and then I go into this little section right here. So it's a little, I don't know if I can see that, it's this little part right here. I just go through that, and then I don't pull it all the way through. Just pull this through, and then I take it apart and tie it off. So this is the top, this is the bottom. Again, the strap goes towards the bottom. That's how you know it's the bottom, because the strap goes, it just naturally falls down. The triangle, and you just open it and it rounds it off just like that. So it's a cute durag. Yeah, I mean, I hope this helped. I tried to be more detailed. Again, if you needed to go slower, you can adjust the playback speed on YouTube. You can adjust it on your phone and on your like MacBook or desktop or laptop. But this is the finished product. You know, you kind of just shape it, stuff like that, so it's perfectly round. Yeah, I hope this tutorial helped. Hopefully it's better than the very first one. I hope y'all like this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in my next video.